big sky, big potential. In association with Mills and Reeve, this is Eastern Promise. Achieving more together.
Welcome to the east of England, the region that contains more brainpower than Mensa, greater tech prowess than NASA, and more climate awareness than a nude druid at the winter solstice. Welcome to Eastern Promise. I'm your host, Mike Rigby, and this week I'm chatting to Chief Executive of Cambridge Wireless, Michaela Eschbach, in the bright sunshine behind the Bradfield Centre on Cambridge Science Park. We'll discuss Michaela's career path that brought her to CW, and she'll preview for us this networking group's upcoming slate of events, including the happening that will underscore this city's, this region's technological leadership, 2025's Cambridge Tech Week. The sun's out in the big blue sky and our signal is at full strength as we chat to Michaela Eschbach of Cambridge Wireless on this week's Eastern Promise. If you want to know the core tenet at the heart of Eastern Promise, then it is this: that the east of England has everything our country, Europe, nay the world, requires to answer the coming challenges of the 21st century. Not least because our region hosts so many leading organisations whose reach stretches around the globe. One such global champion is Cambridge Wireless, which leads an international community for companies driving forward the research, development and application of wireless and mobile technologies, the internet, semiconductors and software. And what a community! Its membership roll holds over 1,000 companies, ranging from major network operators and device manufacturers to innovative startups and universities. By driving forward debate, partnership and collaboration, Cambridge Wireless harnesses knowledge, provides a dynamic networking forum, tracks industry trends and creates new connections between academia and industry. Their annual conference is a must-attend affair, as are the many thought-provoking events on all manner of matters throughout the year. And that's before we even get to the CW-powered Cambridge Tech Week, a fantastic outward-looking festival that sees the city open its institutions up to debate, discussion and, importantly for Eastern Promise, celebration. With its HQ at the heart of the Cambridge ecosystem, Cambridge Wireless manages the contortion of having its head held high, whilst holding its ear to the ground and its finger on the pulse. That's why I was so excited to meet with the new Chief Executive of Cambridge Wireless, Michaela Eschbach, to find out more about CW, the forthcoming Cambridge Tech Week, and indeed, Michaela herself. And so, dear listener, on a beautiful day at the Bradfield Centre, I sat down with Michaela to find out more. It is a beautiful, beautiful Thursday afternoon outside the Bradfield Centre on Cambridge Science Park, and I'm here with Michaela Eschbach of Cambridge Wireless. Now, Michaela, we first met, welcome to Eastern Promise, by the way, we first met at Cambridge Tech Week last year when you were very new in the role as
CEO of Cambridge Wireless. How has the last 12 months been for you?
Hi, nice to be here, Mike, and nice to see you again. And yes, you're absolutely right. We met last year in the Bradfield Centre during Cambridge Tech Week. The last 12 months were really exciting, both on Cambridge Wireless, starting with a great team and taking the company into new exciting strategic areas, but also Cambridge Tech Week. We are, as you may well be aware, we're in the midst of organising Cambridge Tech Week 2025, which will take place this year on the week of the 15th of September.
Aha, that's good. That's good to know. That's the week of my wife's birthday, which might be slightly problematic.
Well, that's great, but
my
you
problem.
can remember that nicely.
Yes, well, it's a good way to remember. That's true. Sorry, darling, I'm going to Cambridge Tech Week. That's an awkward conversation. I'll have another time. So, Cambridge Wireless, for those who are not in Cambridge and living under possibly a rock or in a cave somewhere, could you describe to us, I mean, you can hear how the buzz of the Bradfield Centre, what a buzzy, active place. Could you describe to us, please, what Cambridge Wireless is and what it does?
Absolutely. So Cambridge Wireless, I love to say we are Cambridge Wireless, but we're not Cambridge and we are not really wireless. So Cambridge Wireless is a membership organisation in the connectivity space, and we have a big vision to become the global membership organisation for connectivity. So what do? We bring the industry together who will take an interest in connectivity, so that's from mobile devices to private networks to satellites to AI in particular with a focus on the space, and many other technological areas which are highly relevant to connectivity in its own right. So we bring our big purposes to support collaboration, innovation and growth of our members and the wider ecosystem that we operate with. So we are a long-standing membership organisation. We actually were founded back in 2008, and even before 2008, we originated in a project where Cambridge was, and that's why Cambridge Wireless was really eager to get 3G to Cambridge. So that's our roots. So we have a really great experience in bringing the ecosystem together and really driving deep technological discussions and therefore forging partnerships and supporting our members in order to grow.
So not a day seems to go by without a new CW event dropping into my email inbox. And I have to say they all look really fascinating, and it makes me wish I knew more about tech. So what is like the average, if such things exist, so what is your sort of standard 12 months within Cambridge Wireless? How do you kind of fill that time for your members?
So I think that's a really good question actually, Mike. So we are busy, as you say, we have a lot of events. So the main vehicle how we deliver membership value is through events by facilitating these discussions. So typical 12 months, we have 3 flagship conferences, whereas 2 are to the true nature of Cambridge Wireless. So in the spring, we run our international conference where we bring around 450 people into the room together, and we streamline, so we have also international delegates who can come in person, who can actually stream into the conference. In the summer then we have our technological conference, we call it CW Tech, which is actually happening now on the 9th of July, and this year's topic is 6G anarchy in the UK.
Yes, I love the title.
Which is really nice. Well, 6G is a big topic in our industry, and you know there are a lot of pros and cons. There are a lot of debates within the industry whether do we need 6G, why 6G if 5G isn't quite where we want it to be. So we take a little tilt on this conference this year and to really challenge the question around 6G. So those are the 2 flagship conferences that we have as CW. Then we, as you just mentioned, we operate Cambridge Tech Week, which is a much larger ecosystem conference, and that's happening in the autumn. So we have 3 large events throughout the year. And other than that, we organize special interest groups. So each special interest group covers a specific connected related technology, as I mentioned beforehand, whether it's your RAN, your mobile networks, or your connected places. And these special interest groups meet between 1 and 3 times a year.
Yeah.
So as you can imagine, we have 15 active interest groups at the moment, 15 times. On average, that's another 30 events that we put together for our events. And then a part of that, we organize founder dinners, or we organize our summer barbecue, where we really offer our members the opportunity to network and to get together and to really have deeper and meaningful conversations.
A year full of sort of exploration, and I'm really interested in as well into how you engage with. I mean, you say you're not Cambridge and you're not wireless. Obviously, you've kept the Cambridge moniker. To what extent do you find that a really useful tool in opening a door?
So I think it's really interesting. So I think it has two sides. So let me just precise. When I say we are not Cambridge, we are based in Cambridge. The team is based here, and a lot of our events are held in Cambridge. Having said that, we are running events in London. We run them in Reading. We run them in Bristol. So we are actually, and we have members further afield. We are now strengthening our membership in the Manchester area, and actually next year's international conference, we're very eager to it become a fringe event of Manchester Tech Week. So it's really, really interesting. So we're trying to build our nationwide membership because for me, if you want to drive innovation, you have to look beyond your current ecosystem to really engage the discussion. And with that, the international arm also comes into play. So we're building relationships now with international parties so that we can learn from what's happening abroad, how can that help us, and vice versa. So we're really trying to broaden that conversation. So to answer your question around how does Cambridge help us? So particularly internationally, if you speak to international players, Cambridge is still quite a powerful name because they immediately associated with technology, they associated with the university, and it carries that gravitas. Nationally, it also has hindered us to expand at times because people say, oh, but we're not Cambridge. Why should we be working with you? That's not our ecosystem. So I, to be very honest, use Cambridge where I know it's for tune, and sometimes I just abbreviate our Cambridge Wireless as we are also known by as CW, depending on who I speak to really build the emphasis around the technological discussion that we are leading rather than the location we are based at.
So it's like a bit like BP or BT that they don't really go by what the B stands for anymore, but everyone knows them by that shorthand. And speaking of BT, do you often get out to Adastral Park in Suffolk, or is that somewhere that's not really featured in the city, still to be accessed and conquered, as it were?
So the Suffolk Park, well, obviously we're working with BT, so yes, we are out there every so often. We are more closely working now with the Norwich Research Park, and actually they are also an official partner via and very closely with the UEA to that end. They're actually they're again partnering with us on Cambridge Tech Week. And this year we actually take international and national investors and startups to Norwich on the Friday.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So we're really trying to bring the ecosystem together and showcase how innovation is driven in this.
That's really good to know. I mean, I actually chaired the event last year in Norwich at the fantastic Sainsbury Centre, which was a real privilege for me. So, just turning to yourself for a minute, what's been your journey to Cambridge Wireless, professionally speaking? What's your career path been here?
So my career path, I would argue I have a beautiful red thread running through my career, whilst the industries I've seen are quite diverse. So my career started 12 years in investment banking, between investment banking and IT. So I led multi-million tech projects in order to deliver new product development within the investment bank. And then I moved on into more contract-related, service-related roles where I then had to implement processes across the bank in order to make sure that we can deliver the services. When I came over to the UK, funnily enough, that was back in 2012, so I'm quite a while here now.
Yeah.
I actually I didn't want to commute to London. At the time I had a 4-year-old, so I tried to find and get my feet under the table here in Cambridge, and I got that opportunity working for an association of secondary schools and trying to support them with careers education, bringing Cambridge local businesses into schools. Right. So very, very different indeed. But that little project led me to co-found an organisation with Anne Bailey from Form the Future.
Yes.
So I co-founded Form the Future back in 2015 with Anne Bailey.
Really?
Yes, indeed. So a slight track from investment banking into the social sector, really supporting thousands of young people to understand what different career paths are out there. And that journey then took me, and funnily enough, before I go on to my journey, Anne Bailey and Form the Future are an integral part of Cambridge Tech Week. So it's really nice. So it's really nice to be back working with her in a different means, but working very closely with her. So from then I then took over a national charity called Founders for Schools, a very much platform-based charity doing in the same space as Form the Future but nationally, and that brought me back into my stronger tech background, developing a platform in order to facilitate these encounters. And then from there went back into the startup space, and I ran an AI-driven SaaS business, and then supporting organisations, startups and scale-ups to internationalise or to get their foothold here in the UK. So really interesting. And then Cambridge Wireless came along and they were looking for a new CEO, and I thought, that's amazing. This is events, it is tech, it is platform, and all my experience that I brought in my life actually really kind of came nicely together at Cambridge Wireless.
What a really rich background. And so to what extent do you find the sort of social side of your career coming through in Cambridge Wireless now? Because obviously it's been well said many times by smarter people than me that obviously Cambridge has its challenges, particularly deeply within inequality. To what extent is that social side coming in a part of what your CW is doing, will do?
So very interesting. So we are indeed. So for example, before I answer with CW, Cambridge Tech Week this year is supporting 3 social sectors. So when you buy a ticket for Cambridge Tech Week, you can choose to donate. So we are working with 3 different institutions. So I feel that there's something there for everybody to choose to find the right opportunity, I would hope, because I truly believe that we have to deliver the greater good. So for me, this is a very important part of what we're doing. For Cambridge Wireless, we are very eager to bring more females into the tech industry. We all know that gender diversity isn't great, but we don't stop there. But I think you have to start focusing on one element that you want to drive in the right direction before looking at diversity as a whole, because you want to be good at one thing before so at least that's what we want to do. And then for me, the social part and my background and careers, we are looking into how can we work with secondary education or with sixth form colleges in particular, or early stage graduates, to open our door at Cambridge Wireless so that we can actually embrace them. And I think partaking in some of the discussions we are leading, it will open a door and an inspiration that they may otherwise not find, and then therefore open the opportunity for them to go in. So we will be working at Cambridge Wireless a lot in the coming months and years to really embrace those opportunities that we can deliver. So sometimes a small step makes a big change.
Absolutely fantastic. I love it already. So let's come on to, what can you tell me about the plans in the pipeline for, it's so exciting already, week of the 15th, Cambridge Tech Week, already sounding amazing from the little you told me. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, so Cambridge Tech Week runs across 5 days, as it does, so from 15th to 19th of September, as I said. The Monday and the Friday are our introduction events. So the Monday is introducing non-Cambridge, non-UK players to Cambridge. What does Cambridge look like? What's the ecosystem? From site visits to AI speeches, really giving you a nice understanding of what's happening in Cambridge, so that you can really understand why is it worthwhile for you to join this ecosystem, or why is it worthwhile for you to build partnerships in Cambridge. The Friday is similar, but in Norwich, where we really want to showcase what are the strengths of Norwich, whether that's agri-tech or whether that's biotech, whether that's their climate tech art strength, but it's really showcasing we are good at this, and this is how you can engage with us. Then the core days of the conference are the Tuesday to the Thursday. The Tuesday is painting the big picture. That's our innovation landscape day. That's really when, and the big theme across the entire week this year is seizing the AI advantage. And what better opportunity to talk about AI as this year, now being nominated from government, that we are the AI driving force in the UK. So we thought it was really, really important to demonstrate and to showcase that. So the Tuesday is really big picture, and it's very targeted for investors, startups, entrepreneurs, corporates who really want to have an understanding, where does the journey take us and where does it go. In the evening, we have a beautiful dinner. On the Wednesday, we then focus on the whole startup to scale-up journey. where we are supporting startups to learn from others how can we create unicorns of tomorrow, how did other scale-ups start, and we have great speakers to really guide the journey. And what we're really proud of, last year we had a couple of pitch events, but this year we will bring every pitch event together into one big pitch event on the Wednesday, where we then have the finalists of our awards, which will be created and actually open for entry is now. You can start applying. So that's the Wednesday where we really, really talk about how can you scale, how can we be successful, because that's the one thing that we in the UK, we are great with the startups, but we are really, really not so great in scaling organizations. So focusing on the commercialization journey is really important to us this year. And then on the Thursday, this is our day where we focus on technologies. This year we're looking at medtech and health tech. We're looking at semiconductors and quantum. We're looking at agri-tech and climate tech. So those are the focused areas. And all of these will be looking at how does AI drive innovation in these specific industries and technologies. So it's promising to be a really exciting week, and there's something there for everyone, and it's yours to miss.
And will there be a big tech debate this year?
There will be on the Thursday.
Fantastic.
There will be a big tech debate. I think, going back to your question around integration and the next generation, last year we had our Tech Futures Day on the Friday.
Yeah.
This year, I'm so happy we will be integrating the Tech Futures across the entire week.
Oh, that's a wonderful one.
Which is really nice. And
really
we're
good.
also working with tech educators.
Ah, yes, I know tech educators.
And they ran a hackathon for young people across the 3 days.
They are very good at hackathons.
And I'm really excited to have them on board this year. So
It's
both.
wonderful. Yes. It's always like, I always love to see all the parts coming together. You sort of get aware of these various people, and then when people like tech educators and yourself and Norwich Research Park and this place, Cambridge, all work pulling together in the same direction, that's just like, I can go home now, my job is done. It's wonderful.
But I think but that's what we're about, right? We have to demonstrate and share this transparency to young people. If you want to make a change in who's entering the industry and how many people we can attract, we have to support that. And I think Cambridge Tech Week is a really great vehicle to work together with organisations like Tech Educators and Form the Future to really make it happen. And I'm quite happy that Tech Educators, they will have a winner of their hackathon, and that winner will be presented at the Gala Awards on the Thursday night as we close Tech Week. So we really want to integrate young people into the Tech Week this year. And what I haven't talked to you about yet is our exhibition, Innovation Alley. It has been such a great success last year, where we ran it for half a day, that we've actually decided to run it across 2 days this year.
Well, that is a step up, isn't it?
It's a really nice step up, and we are also we're welcoming startups confirmed now from Germany, from China, from Cambridge Enterprise is having another zone this year, so is UEA. So we are really seeing a lot more international take-up as well for that, and the call for exhibition is open now.
Fantastic.
So it's really important to understand, because we don't just take anybody to exhibit. We're really, really eager to see really innovative technological startups, whether they are startups, scale-ups, or if you're corporate but you have real innovation to demonstrate, then Cambridge Tech Week is your place to be.
Well, I think I'm just thinking as well about the Norwich FinTech cluster. What an opportunity this is for them to show what they can do. I mean, if you're thinking, you mentioned corporates, and I'm thinking of Viva, and the Norwich Financial Industry Group, 140 companies. Again, this is a great opportunity for them all across the region, and we could do, I think, a podcast. I was listening to Andy Williams of the Oxford Cambridge Supercluster Board talk about the exact thing you've raised about how we're very good at startups, but we then kind of muff the next bit, which is either somebody comes and swoops from overseas and steals them out from under our noses, or we just don't know what to do next. That's a podcast in itself, I think. But
I agree. I couldn't agree more.
So what's the one part of Cambridge Tech Week that's really got Michaela Eschbach really excited? You're really looking forward to? You think this is going to be, or is it all of it? Is this going to be is this particular point thinking, yes, this is the part I really look forward to getting to, and now we're here?
Well, I have to say, I love the fact that we have a proper vision in place for Cambridge Tech Week. We really we see ourselves as a global tech gathering for innovators, for visionaries, for investors, and for entrepreneurs. We really want to shift the dial this year, and I think the fact that the whole week is there to facilitate collaboration, innovation, and growth for me is inspiring, if I may say the least. And I think the fact that we have a beautiful theme like Seizing the AI Advantage this year, which will bring the entire agenda together, and despite the fact that we're looking at it from different angles, we have a common theme that you will find irrespective of where you're going. I think that will be really, really helpful for the audience, and that excites me. And yeah, that excites me.
And as well it should. So for those who are thinking, what is this Cambridge Tech Week of which you speak? This sounds fascinating, I must know more. Where should they go?
So we have a proper website, of course, for Cambridge Tech Week only. So if you go to www.cambridgetechweek.co.uk, that's where you can find all the information about it, from confirmed speakers to the program to access to your ticketing. So you can literally find everything right there and then. The call for speakers is open now. It's just about to close by the end of June. So if you want to speak, if you think you really fit the agenda, you really want to share your expertise and knowledge, now is the time to line up for the speakers. And you may be able to join the ranks with some of our already existing speakers, which are, whether it's, I was just about to say Mike Rigby, can you believe it?
Well, this is a scoop. Not me, it's all right, don't panic, nobody panic.
No, but we are welcoming Daniel Hume, Dr. Abigail Gilbert. We are actually welcoming this year's speakers from Meta, from Microsoft, from NVIDIA.
Fantastic.
So we've really started to line up amazing speakers, which I think in its own right make the conference worthwhile going to.
I mean, for better or worse, it's a very exciting time to be talking tech things when the international picture is, I don't want to say fractious, I want to say changeable. And, there's advantage you've taken. I'm particularly interested in the AI discussion because people tend to panic. The media loves to write about AI because it doesn't really the mainstream media legacy media doesn't really understand AI. It loves to come at it from a place of, AI will, burn down your house and kill everyone, but it won't. AI is going to be about changing our working lives, and we already have AI in our lives. We're so used to having it in our lives, we don't call it that. I mean, what's predictive text? I use this example all the time. The Microsoft paperclip was AI. How else do you think it knew you were writing a letter and wondering if you would like any help? All these things, they are AI that seemed terrifying and then entirely normal. So, and I think that's how we're, hopefully, he said, going to proceed. And I'm really excited to see that really positive discussion coming out of Cambridge Tech Week about not just the good stuff we can do with AI, how we can make people's lives better with AI, but how Cambridge and the community you're building is going to drive that forward, be at the forefront of that, particularly now it's got the government spotlight on it.
And I think that's a really good point, because if you look at some of the sessions that we're running on the Tuesday, we're looking at, how can AI help the public good? We're looking at how can you grow ethically? How can you scale an organization ethically? Particularly in the environment of AI. And you rightly say so. I mean, the AI and the power that it brings with it is enormous. But there is a question around how do we do it in a proper way? Now, I'm really much looking forward to having all these discussions around the table, and if you just, and to really diving deep into it this year. So yeah, I think it's promising to be a really exciting conference.
I'm absolutely on tenterhooks already. It's going to be a fascinating time. I'm really looking forward to it. Michaela Eschbach of Cambridge Wireless, it's been an absolute delight to have you on the Eastern Promise podcast with me this afternoon for a very sunny Cambridge Science Park outside the Bradfield Centre. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. It was a pleasure to be here.
My huge thanks to Michaela for her time and for that fantastic overview of Cambridge Wireless, Cambridge Tech Week, and Michaela herself. To find out more about any and all of these things, check out the links in the show notes. Eastern Promise will be at Cambridge Tech Week to share in the joy, jubilation and joined-up thinking in the city that's the beating heart of tech. Are you going to be there? Then let me know, and I'll see you at Cambridge Tech Week. And that's all there is for episode 138 of the Eastern Promise podcast. I have been Mike Rigby, and we'll be so again next week, when my guest will be Dr. Laura Reeves of the University of Suffolk, when we will be at the Waterside campus discussing her research on the impact hybrid working has had on managers. It's yet another way that the East of England is leading the way on driving forward the UK economy, asking the big questions, and letting data, analysis, and most importantly, curiosity lead the way. Join me right back here, in 7 days for that one. Until then, bye for now. To hear other episodes of the Eastern Promise podcast and to find out more about what we do, go to our website at easternpromise.org.uk. Eastern Promise is a Pudding Shed production in proud association with Mills and Reeve. Achieving more together.